Ambassador Zekthara's crystalline fingers trembled as she approached the massive doors of the Terran Council chamber. The irony wasn't lost on her. 50 cycles ago, her people had demanded humanity kneel before the galactic hegemony. Today, she was the one seeking audience, hat in hand, begging for mercy. The door slid open with a whisper, revealing a chamber that defied every expectation she'd held about human architecture. Where the hegemony built monuments to intimidation, towering spires of black metal and sharp angles, the humans had crafted something entirely different. Warm wood panels lined the walls and soft light filtered through what appeared to be living trees growing within the structure itself. It spoke of patience, of growth, of something that endured not through force, but through deep roots. At the center sat 12 humans, representing the various colonies that now stretched across 3 galactic arms. No thrones, no elevated platforms, just simple chairs arranged in a circle. Among them, Admiral Sarah Chen leaned forward slightly, her weathered face bearing the scars of the siege of Europa Station. "Ambassador Zekthara," Chen said, her voice carrying neither warmth nor hostility. "Please sit." Zekthara's species had evolved from pack hunters, and every instinct screamed that she should be reading dominance displays, territorial markings, threats both subtle and overt. Instead, she found herself facing something her people had never encountered in 3 million years of evolution: genuine indifference to their submission. "Honorable counselors," Zekthara began, her translator rendering her words in perfect Terran standard, "I come bearing the unanimous surrender of the Hegemony Coalition. Our fleets lay down their arms. Our worlds open their borders. We submit to human authority." The silence stretched longer than Zekthara's nerves could handle. Finally, Counselor Rodriguez, a woman whose great-grandmother had died in the glass seas of New Lisbon, spoke. "Ambassador, I think there's been a misunderstanding." Zekthara's throat sac inflated in confusion. "Misunderstanding? The war is over, you have won. The natural order—" "There's your problem right there," interrupted Dr. Nkem, the xenobiologist whose work had helped humanity understand 17 different species well enough to defeat them without genocide. "You keep thinking in terms of natural order, of dominance hierarchies. You demanded we kneel 50 years ago because that's how your species processes defeat. But we're not you." Admiral Chen stood and walked to one of the living trees, running her hand along its bark. "When the hegemony first contacted us, we were excited. First contact with a galactic civilization. Imagine the possibilities. Then you scanned our homeworld, counted our ships, assessed our technology." She turned back to face Zekthara. "And you laughed." The memory burned in Zekthara's mind. The reports had been clear. Humanity possessed barely a dozen star systems. Their ships were chemical-fueled relics, their weapons primitive kinetic projectiles. The hegemony's war computers had calculated human resistance would last exactly 47 days. "You told us to kneel," Chen continued, "to accept our place as a servant species, to be grateful for the privilege of existing under your protection." Her laugh held no humor. "But here's what you never understood about humans. We've been the underdog for our entire evolutionary history. We're persistence hunters, Ambassador. We don't win by being the strongest or the fastest. We win by never ever giving up." Counselor Okafor leaned forward. "The siege of Europa Station. Your people remember it as humanity's first great victory, but you know what we remember? We remember that our children were dying, that our elderly were rationing oxygen, that by every logical calculation, we should have surrendered." He smiled grimly. "Logic suggested we kneel. We chose to stand." Zekthara's research files contained detailed analyses of that battle. The humans had been outnumbered 50-1. Their station was a converted mining platform with improvised weapons. By all military doctrine, it should have fallen in hours. Instead, it had held for 8 months, long enough for human engineers to reverse engineer captured hegemony technology. "Your mistake," said Dr. Vasquez, "was thinking that superior technology equals inevitable victory. But humans have been fighting that battle our entire history. We've defeated megafauna with sharpened sticks, built civilizations despite predators that could crush us, reached the stars with chemical rockets because someone dared to dream impossible dreams. The tree in the chamber rustled gently, its branches swaying in the artificial breeze. Zekthara realized it was an olive tree, a human symbol of peace but also of persistence. Olive trees could live for thousands of years, their roots growing deeper with each season. "You offered us servitude," Admiral Chen said softly. "We offered you something you'd never seen before, the chance to be equals. Not servants, not masters, partners. But you refused," Counselor Martinez added. "Your entire coalition chose war over equality. You couldn't conceive of a relationship that wasn't about dominance." Zekthara felt the weight of realization settling on her carapace. The hegemony hadn't lost because humanity was stronger. They'd lost because humans had done something unthinkable. They'd built a coalition based on mutual respect rather than fear. The Andromedan Trade Collective had joined not because humans had conquered them, but because humans had saved their homeworld from a stellar cascade. The Silicon Singers had allied with humanity after humans had spent decades learning their crystalline language, becoming the first species to appreciate their art. "So what happens now?" Zekthara asked, her voice barely a whisper. Chen returned to her seat. "Now? Now you have the same choice we offered you 50 years ago. Join us as equals. Help us build something bigger than any empire, a true galactic community. You're not demanding our surrender?" "Ambassador," Dr. Nkem said gently, "humanity learned long ago that forced submission breeds only resentment. We're not interested in ruling over you. We're interested in learning from you, trading with you, growing alongside you." Zekthara stared at the humans, these impossible creatures who had refused to kneel and somehow convinced the galaxy to stand with them instead. In the end, they had accomplished something the hegemony, with all its military might, had never managed. They had won not through fear, but through hope. "On behalf of the coalition," she said slowly, "we would be honored to accept your offer of partnership." Admiral Chen smiled, the first warm expression Zekthara had seen in the chamber. "Welcome to the galactic community, Ambassador. Let's build something beautiful together." Outside the chamber's great windows, ships from 100 different worlds moved in peaceful formation, their crews working together on projects that would have been impossible alone. Humanity had refused to kneel, and in doing so had taught the galaxy how to stand.